Hi, I'm going to introduce you as quickly as I can to a workflow that we have developed for this school year that I think will save you lots of clicks and lots of time. It's a good bit of setup in the beginning. I'm going to move quickly, but it is video, so you can pause and rewind to work on those the things that I introduced to you. So I will say first that I'm going to go over the big picture. Hopefully you'll we'll take your calm zen for a moment for right now, right? It is a good chunk of work in the first sitting. The good news is that after that, you don't have to touch most of this for the rest of the year. And in sum total, it does not add any work that you weren't already doing to your workflow. It just sets something up in the beginning so that we don't have to duplicate our efforts throughout the school year. So hopefully that's a good plan for you. So here's what it's going to look like. We have a Google Classroom set up. Everyone is going to use Google Classroom, obviously, and most of you are doing many of these things already. We will use topics, and we will use them indicated with you can use a week number if you want. You don't have to. I recommend it. It helps really keep your mind on when the 9 weeks is up. I find that really helpful. So when I get to week 7 or 8, I start thinking, okay, well, let me think about my assignments as I get to week 9, and having it right there in the topic is super helpful. Then a date, and if you want to put a content out here to the side, you can. I found that's not as necessary. If you want to put a unit number or whatever, that's cool. And then our assignments will go underneath. There's 2 sample assignments right there. Remember that topics and assignments are drag and droppable, so you can reorder things. So say you don't get to this in week 1, you can just plop it up into week 2. Super easy. The next thing you'll notice about this classwork page is that we will be numbering assignments this year. We're going to use this numbering convention for a lot of reasons, but the convention goes like this. First quarter assignments are 100s, second quarter 200s, third quarter 300s, fourth quarter 400s. That really helps you when you're talking to students about their assignments. So it's second quarter and a student says, oh, can I go back and do assignment 105? The answer is no. I don't even have to look. That's a first quarter assignment. It's already over with. So very handy. Numbering also prevents a lot of confusion when talking with parents. Parent says, what is my student missing? And you say, well, they're missing the ed puzzle. That kid's got ed puzzles in every single class. So if you're able to tell them which assignment numbers, they can quickly and easily match that up with what they see, because you're going to put the same exact assignment title in Power School. So mom and dad look in Power School and they see assignments 105 through 107 were skipped. There's no grade. They can look right at the kid and say, these number assignments. I thought this was going to take me a long time to get the hang of. It took about 2 weeks. It's not hard. And it saved me a lot of heartache, especially when we went online. This weekly topic, date thing is recommended. It just in all online learning environments, that's highly recommended. So we're going to go with that and this numbering system to really help our kids stay organized and to help ourselves. So we will all do this. Couple frequently asked questions about this system. What if I accidentally duplicate a number? Okay, so I put in 2 105s by accident and I realize that when I'm on 120. I don't want to go back and renumber everything. You can, but maybe you don't want to. No problem. Go to your duplicate assignments 105, make one of them 105A and one 105B, or 105.1 and 105.2, problem solved. What if I skip a number? Well, you can go back and renumber if you want, but I can tell you from experience, I have skipped numbers. The students don't really notice. You might have 1 or 2 who's like, wait, did we do 107? And you can just tell them you omitted that assignment if you want. If you don't want, you want to be sure you keep track of every single number, then fine. You can put in Power School assignment 107 omitted if you want, so that there's no confusion. But I haven't found that anybody's really asked me about that. I've been asked about, what about activities that are not graded assignments? Put them in here. Maybe it's just practice work, things that you suggest that you're not going to grade. And when you put them in here, don't put a number beside it. That way, students know it's not a graded assignment. Parents will know that too. So that makes it handy. If you put in assignments and you've already numbered them, and let's say 110 was a numbered assignment, you decided, I'm not going to grade that. Simply go in and take the number off in Google Classroom. Now it's not a graded assignment anymore, and you won't put it in PowerSchool. So hopefully that will help you to see how, to keep everything organized on this page. I'm going to show you a previous Google Classroom that is set up. This is mine from last spring. And you will see in here that, that not everything is a numbered assignment. And it's easy to tell, what the graded work will be. Because there are lots of things that are, optional assignments, just a question I'm asking. These were some Zoom sessions. So everything does not have to be numbered in order to be instruction, okay? So you'll notice that we are working from this classwork page, and we want everyone to do that. This classwork page is the important page. When you set up your classes, we are going to turn off classwork appearing in the stream. We don't want kids to go to the stream. We want them to go here. We want you to go here so that everything that you're looking at is organized, okay? So we're going to look next at what settings you need in here when we go deeper into building this class. So your Google Classroom setup will need to look like this and work like this. Oh, sorry, one more thing I wanted to show you is we're going to set it up so that this low setting, medium setting, high setting, that is available for you so kids will know which grade category this assignment falls in the grade book and help them prioritize their work. So this is going to be our Google Classroom setup. Notice now that Google Meet is right here and right here in the stream. You do not need to generate links to Google Classroom. This stays here forever and ever. And you and your students will go right here to your Google Meet link every time you needed to meet with this class. Super handy dandy. Finally, I will encourage you and your students to use this particular component. You know that your students look right here for their work. This is where they're used to looking because this is on the stream. Nothing's going to be on the stream now except announcements like class starts in 5 minutes. Don't forget to bring your book, whatever. So they'll still look here. This will only show things that are due in the next 2 days. Not helpful, right? So we're going to teach students to look here at this calendar, or if they're starting at the main page, at this calendar. This will show them all assignments for the week in every single one of their classes. They can drop this down and choose which class, and they will see all assignments here on this page. Not only will they see all the assignments on this page, the assignments there are clickable, so they can go straight to the assignment in Google Classroom. Right now I'm backing up into April so you can see an active class with assignments in it. So this is what students will see on this page, except they'll see multiple classes, different colors, clickable links that go straight into the assignment. I'm going to teach in advisory that they bookmark this calendar page and go here to check for homework. So that is our Google Classroom piece. Now, you will be entering your assignments in Google Classroom as you always do. You will copy this title for your assignment and put it in PowerSchool, hopefully as you always do. The next piece that you kind of always do is to write the start menu on the board, right? So the start menu, we are going to shift that to a digital format, which is something that you already know how to do. It's simply going to be in a Google slide. Now I've made a template that I'm going to share with you in a minute, but this Google slide will be something that you can use in all three modalities. So if we are digital, you can post it in Google Classroom or put it on a website, which I'm going to show you about later. Or you can, if you are hybrid, your students at home and in school will be able to see it because it's digital. And if you're face-to-face, then you simply will show it or project it in your classroom. So rather than write it on the board, what you're doing each day, it will go on a slide like this. Here's where the magic starts to happen. Plan book. We know you, we love you, plan book, but we can use you better. So the reason that we need plan book is that our administrators need a way to look at what we're doing that is fast, easy, simple to navigate for them. Working through Google Classroom for an administrator is nightmarish. They would have to be enrolled in every single one of our hundreds of classrooms and then hunt through all of our titles every day to see what we're doing. That's the big why, thank you, Mariah, why we need Planbook. So Planbook gives them a place where they can click on our name and see what we're doing in all of our classes every day. Well, we are already putting that information somewhere, so why do we need to duplicate those efforts? We don't. We will add links to Google Classroom and to that daily agenda or start menu that we're creating in slides here in Google Classroom. I've talked to Mariah and Kelly about this, and this works for them. They will be able to click on your Google Classroom assignments link and go straight to your assignments page in Google Classroom. They'll be able to see exactly what you've already put in there. You don't need to copy paste this into Planbook. They will just be able to see what you've already done. So you won't need to update it because it's a link. It will always go to whatever you have in Google Classroom. Genius. You don't ever have to update this link again after you put this together at the beginning of the year, and I will help you. The other thing is this link to the daily agenda. So they'll be able to click that and see what you're doing every day because you're already updating it for your students. So you don't need to write it all in Planbook again either. We'll just link to it in Planbook and administrators can see what's going on. The only other thing you need to have in Planbook is a brief description of what is happening that day in class. So quickly at a glance, you could look at this and say, what's Mindy doing in Theater 1 today? Oh, she's going to be teaching direct instruction. Here's what she's teaching. Here's my I can statement. Done. You do not need to put millions of standards in here. You do not need to attach all your documents because they're attached in Google Classroom. You don't need to put all those details that you've already put over here so we don't duplicate those efforts, right? So, and I've talked to them, this is plenty. So it doesn't need to be overboard. I know I felt like I had to fill in all those blanks, but we kind of honed it down to what do they really need to see? And this is it. So, so they are able to, if they're going to, come visit your classroom or they want to talk to a parent about what's happening, there's very quick at a glance. They can just look right here and see it. And if they want to dig deeper, they can click into these other two pieces. And you didn't have to do anything. So check this out. I've got my daily stuff already put in here, and I want to write my Wednesday lesson. Copy, paste, and now my links are already in there. Right? All I got to do is go in here and write my little lesson description, and I'm good to go. I can even extend this lesson like this, extend 2, and I can bump it out 2 more days, and I'm done. So conceivably, on Sunday night, you take Friday's lesson from the week before and say extend lesson 5 days, and this is all completely done. And you have already filled that in. All you got to do is type a little couple of sentences or bullet points about what's actually going on in class. Super fast and easy. And remember, this information is for Mariah and Kelly to know just what's happening in your class every day. Here comes the third piece. We've done Google Classroom. We've done Planbook. We've done a daily agenda, right? And remember, we still only done the data entry you already do in Google Classroom. And we've moved your start menu to a slide deck, and Planbook does itself. So we have covered our communication with our students, with our administrators, and we've done our planning, right? The last piece is parents. So parents, easy peasy for parents, is a website. This piece is really optional. If you don't get this far, this right now, then we can work on this later, but every teacher I've worked with has really liked this idea, and we've gone ahead and done it. I've built a teacher website template that is super simple. This website we're going to copy it for you and link it to your stuff. and you won't ever have to touch it again. You don't have to know any kind of web design or anything else because we've built some magical pieces into it for you. So this website lets you click on each of the classes that you teach. You'll notice this fourth one says social emotional learning. That one is connected to a website I maintain. When it's time for advisory and we're doing some social emotional learning, you will click this, and so will your students, and go right to lesson plans that we've already created for you and put in here. Now this looks familiar, hopefully. You saw it just a minute ago, and perhaps you're starting to get the idea as to where this is going. This main web page could have some general information about you and your courses or your contact info, but let's dig down into this class right here. My Block 1 class has my agenda pages embedded. And as we get through the year and keep adding new daily agenda pages, I can see them all if I want. I can step back through them, say I missed yesterday or the day before or the day before that. They're all there. But the first one is always today and will always show up automatically on your website. So if you updated your agenda or your start menu, it automatically updates on your website. Cool. Right underneath that, you will see a calendar. This calendar is embedded from Google Classroom. So it pulls all the assignments that you already put in Google Classroom onto this website. And it makes it visible to your students. We are working towards making it visible to parents. There's just a switch they need to flip for us. They've agreed to do that. They haven't found the switch yet, but we're going to get there. So we're going to go ahead and embed it, and your students will be able to see all of their assignments from Google Classroom. Once this is set up one time, those links are good forever. And as you update your slide deck and Google Classroom, it automatically updates your website. And you have one for each one of your classes. And if you'll notice, I used big, bold colors on here so that these colors actually match my Google Classroom colors. And I'll make these, my slide decks match as well, because I like color codiness. It really helps me figure out where I am. But this would mean that anyone can come to your website and see what's happening. Even Mariah and Kelly and Rhonda could come here and see what's happening if they don't want to look in Plan Book. Not saying we shouldn't use Plan Book, but if we all did this, would it be necessary? Just saying. So, so here as the last piece is this this website. It's all connected together, right? And once this is built, you don't have to touch it again. Next semester, if you have these same classes, you can reuse this, and we can swap out calendars, or we can make new ones. But you will save these old ones, and if you teach this class again sometime in the future, we just pop in a new agenda and a new calendar, and you're good to go. So those are all of the pieces. Now, the last thing I wanted to tell you about is a little tiny thing, and that is email. We all know that Google Classroom sends us a bazillion emails. We want to be sure that your Gmail is forwarding over to your inbox here in Outlook, so that you're not checking two places. So anytime anyone emails me at my G account, the email lands here in this inbox. I have created folders, as you can see, that say private comments, late work, and resubmitted. All of the Google Classroom emails are tagged with these things in the subject line. So when I get an email from Google Classroom, you can see these folks were in my classes earlier this week. When they add a private comment, these emails go to my G account, which is forwarded to this account, which is sorted into this folder, which means that this folder is always emails from students. I need to reply to these. So I can click on them, and there's the message, and click that reply, which takes me right to the place in Google Classroom where my student Terry Flippo has written to me, and I can write back to him and reply. Super, super easy peasy if you have a faster connection. See that? And these late work and resubmitted notifications, you don't necessarily need to read every one of those that you get from Google Classroom, but it will notify you that people are turning in late work and you can go grade it, or that they resubmitted something from a while ago and you can go grade it. And you can see at a glance that something has come in, which is super, super handy dandy. And it doesn't clutter up your inbox with all of those Google Classroom notifications. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is about this toolbar. You may have noticed as I'm talking to you that everything in my toolbar is stuff I use. And if you have favorited websites and things over the years, you may have a big old clunky list of junk that you don't really use anymore. I am recommending that you use this bar because it saves a lot of clicks, especially with Google Classroom. So what I've done is I've bookmarked PowerSchool, Outlook, Planbook, and I like my Google Drive right there. So when I bookmark them, you can right-click these little dudes, edit, and change the name that automatically pops up. Well, I already know what these icons are, so I take the name all the way out and leave just the little icon because I don't need a word to tell me that's PowerSchool. I know it's PowerSchool. Google Classroom, I do need a word because all these little dudes look the same. And these are connected. You've probably noticed me clicking them. They're all connected not to the main page, but the classwork page, which is where we're doing all of our work, right? So classwork, for my sample class, I just came straight here. This is what I'm always needing to look at first. It takes 4 or 5 clicks to get from the classwork page of one Google Classroom to the classwork page of another Google Classroom if you go over here and go back to classes and click on the class and all that rigmarole. So I'm encouraging you to bookmark your classwork pages so that getting from one classwork page to another is 1 click, particularly if you're doing distance learning from your house and sharing Wi-Fi with everybody else. You want as few clicks as possible. So we're bookmarking all of our Google Classroom pages here. And again, I've made these as short as possible. It's gonna try to make them big and long. We're gonna right click them and put all those really, really short. Sometimes I even just put what block it is, like 4, and done, right? You can reorder them so that they're in nice order. Then we're gonna bookmark each one of your agendas so that daily as you come in here and you wanna write write on the board. So you write on block 1, write on block 2, write on block 3, and you've updated everything that you need for the day. The last link is the link to your website, just in case you want to look at it and admire how awesome you are because everything is now updated and you didn't actually even have to touch it. So that's my little overview of the workflow that we're doing. If you sort of get it, feel free to go ahead and do those things because many of you know how to do this stuff already. I'm going to post separate videos on individual pieces of this if you need help working through them. Thanks so much for sticking around. I know it was kind of long for a video. Remember that when you're making videos for your students. See you soon.